Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is such a pleasure to be back with you. And I just really missed our community while we were off here for a little bit for the holidays. And so today we're going to be talking about coming into the new year and how do we enter in when we have mast cell activation syndrome. One of the things I'm noticing as I'm scrolling Facebook and Instagram, there's so much stuff out there that's about uh, dieting and exercising and um, all of these programs that probably are not going to work for us when we have MCAS. And I just yesterday was uh, going for a walk with a friend, and she said, "Why don't you join me for this new fitness class?" And I was like, "Well, maybe. Can you tell me more about it?" And she's telling me, "Well, I think it's kind of a boot camp and blah, blah, blah." And I had to say, I have some spine injuries. I don't think that's what is going to take best care of my body. But I watched, it was a little hard to say that because I so wanted to go. I wanted to participate in something like that. I wanted to join her. And it just wasn't the right thing for me. And I've been dealing with a hiatal hernia, and I've got to be gentle with my body right now. So I'm wondering, what is it that you all feel pressured to do with New Year's? And we always talk about New Year's resolutions and all these things. And then we talk about something different and what we can do that's different for ourselves when we're dealing with mast cell activation syndrome. But what is it that you feel pressured to do? If you don't feel pressured to do anything, I'd also love to hear, what are your resolutions for this year? What are your goals? Do you have any yet? If not, that's okay. And while those are coming in, I really want to welcome everybody. And again, it's so good to be with you. I want to connect from my heart with you and be in this community together, because that's one of the things that I'm so aware of right now, is that we heal in the presence of love. We heal in the presence of community support. And many of us are going through a lot of challenging things this year. So we've had, and this past year. So I see a lot in terms of um, Tiffany would like to eat all the things she wishes she could, and um, and to heal. And oh, this was sweet. I want to pop this up. Thank you, Tiffany. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for all the support. You're welcome, and Happy New Year to all of you. And thank you also for being here. And then Maria says, to eat things I know will bother me. You went out with friends at a restaurant. It's isolating, isn't it, to have these food restrictions? And so, one of the things that I'm working on, and I really value transparency and just authenticity. And some of you may know, and some of you may not know, I went through a divorce this last year, and it was really hard, and it's still hard. It's still a lot of change. It's a lot of pain and grief, and there's a lot of childhood trauma pieces that are coming up that I'm working with. And so this is what I'm going through. And it's been tough. And I know you guys are going through tough things. And that's where I find that our community is so critical, that we not feel alone, because I was feeling alone for a while too. And I'm wondering, if do you feel alone, especially this time of year? And we had some other things that came in about what are our goals. So Taylor said, recently started dating, working on boundaries, and it's difficult to date with chronic illness and trying to get through this and not sure what's next, but just having faith. Yeah, that's a key, and it can be hard to find that faith, isn't it? And Kim says goals are all around continuing the healing journey. Good, Kim. That's really good. One of the things I talk about a lot is that um, no matter what happens, we have to keep going. We have to keep putting one foot in front of the other if we want to get anywhere and we want to make progress. But how do we do that? How do we keep getting up every morning dealing with the challenges that we're dealing with. And my health is much improved, but gosh, this hiatal hernia was pressing on my vagal nerve and causing intense anxiety. And it took every bit of my mindset and my spiritual practice because it took me over a week to figure out what was triggering this and what was happening. And so that's some of the things that I want us to come together around. And let's see. So other people are still joining us. Welcome. We're so glad that you're with our community here, and it's good to have you. And what we're talking about is, well, it's morphing. I'm really loving the responses coming in, and it helps me to respond to exactly what's going on for you all. So we're talking about, what do we want more of this year? Let's talk about that. What do we want more of this year? And I'm picking this up from Reham, and she says, better ways and coping mechanisms to manage symptoms in social gatherings. And so that's really important. And we can feel that coming off the holidays. And we were talking about, it can be lonely. You can feel lonely on this journey. And that's why community is so critical. This is really important here, Catherine. She shares, I find people have the same expectations of me as they do for everyone else. With MCAS, I look normal and I can't meet those expectations. Gosh, isn't that true? Yeah. And I was just talking about this fitness class I was invited into, and I'd explain, I have these spine injuries and I've been dealing with this hiatal hernia. I don't think a boot camp fitness class is what I need to do, even though I wanted to join my friend in it and it sounded fun. And so, one of the other things I'm thinking about and have been thinking about, and especially as I've been going through my divorce and what my capacities changed during that time, and my ability to get things accomplished, to get my list checked off, that got really affected during all of that stress. I've had to really look at my expectations on myself as well. And I'm coming to find that those expectations for myself are often the most important thing. And am I being gentle? Am I being loving in my expectations of myself? And I tell you, you guys, I know we've all been going through it, and I've been going through it too. Just the last 6 months seems like for so many people have been really challenging, just an additional level of challenges over usual. I'm wondering if you guys are experiencing that too. It's been with the people I've been talking to. There's health challenges, there's relationship challenges. It just seems like our world is really changing. Is that just me? Or are you all experiencing that as well? And I'm seeing that it takes a little time for your comments to come in. So then I like to go back and look at the other ones that we've had come in. And Tiffany's talking about feeling alone around food and fearful still about the COVID virus. And I get that. Yeah, we very isolating. It can be isolating, and that's again why I want to create community for us, is so that we're not so isolated. And I was really alone much of my chronic health years, and didn't know anybody who was sick. And it just helps to know. Sometimes it's just comfort in knowing that we're not the only ones experiencing not just chronic health issues, but anxiety, fears about what's happening in our families, fears about what's happening financially, what's happening with markets, what's happening in the world. I've had to navigate a lot of customer service over the past few months, dealing with accounts and segregating accounts from my divorce. And um, I just noticed even customer service is so much more challenging than it used to be. And what should have taken 5 minutes online, the website's broken. I got to call in. It takes me an hour to get somebody on the phone. They don't know if they can fix it. They're going to call back. They never call back. I got to follow up. So that's some of the clues it's telling me, in addition to the challenges that so many people are having, is that we're living in a world that's shifting, and it's shifting a bit, and it's causing just this underlying anxiety for the unknown. And these are the times when I find we need community even more. We need to come together even more. That's why I'm so happy that you all come together with us every week. And so, some of the other things that people are dealing with, and if you want to put it out there just so you don't have to hold it by yourself, feel free to do that. Let's hold it together and really remind each other that we're not the only ones experiencing these things. We're not as alone in it as we are, as we might be feeling that we are. Susan says one of our resolutions is to not give so much time, space, and power to those close to me who steal my peace so I can sleep better and heal more. Wow, that's powerful, Susan. And I love that. And that's something I want to be talking about more is, how do we do this? How do we get really grounded in setting those boundaries so that we can heal more? And because, as we've talked about on here, it all comes down to how much can we love ourselves? And that is so easy to say. And I absolutely know that is not an easy practice. And I think I've shared before, but we've got some new people on here, and I think sometimes hearing again can help. That well, I'll share a new story. When I was 19, I was dating a young man in college, and just thought we would get married. I was from a rural area, and people got married young, so that was normal to me. And I was just really in love with him. But I had quite a bit of emotional baggage and trauma from my childhood, and I wasn't very good in that relationship. I didn't know how to be good in relationships. I hadn't had great models for that. But we'd been together for 2 years, and I just had it as a granted that we were gonna be together. And then he came, we had an apartment, and he came home and broke up with me one day. And I was just felt like the rug had been pulled out of me. And I know at 19, for a lot of people, it's like, "Oh, it's just a breakup." But for me, my sense of identity was in that relationship and my sense of security. And so when he left, I realized I didn't love myself. And if I couldn't love myself, how would other people love me? And that started me on this journey, and it's been a really hard journey, but it's one I keep showing up for myself. And I continue to sometimes struggle with that, but I'm better and better and better every year. And I tell you, I work really hard to be gentle and loving and remind myself, and I slip sometimes. I'm human. I'm not perfect. One of the practices I did was I started by looking in the mirror and touching my face and saying, "I love you," and looking in my eyes. And you know what happened? What do you think happened the first time I tried that? I'm curious what you guys think. Um, and what would happen if you tried that? If you touched your face and looked in the mirror and said, "You know what? I love you, and I'm going to stick by you no matter what. No matter what. I'm going to be here." It's those things that I really wanted someone to say to me, and I realized I could say that to myself. And I tell you, the first things that happened when I started, that's right, Belinda, I just cried and cried, partly from the sadness of not loving myself, and partly from the relief that I could. Why do I bring that up? Why is this so important? I have seen, working with hundreds and hundreds of clients and supervising hundreds of cases, and seeing up close and personal over 1,000 cases at this point. And then the stories that come in, I mean, tens of thousands of stories that come in with people with mast cell activation, and what allows people to heal. And then where do people stay stuck? And it's often baffled me and a problem that I've worked on for some time, which is why do some people they just move on. They get better in a couple years, they move on. And then people like me were sick for 15 years before we got better. And we've talked a lot about resetting the nervous system, and I'm looking at what's underlying even that. What's the foundation for this? And there's really a foundation of do I feel safe? But what does that mean? And when do we feel safe? I've been really sitting with that because, as you can imagine, as I was going through this divorce, a lot of stuff came up, a lot of stuff around feeling frightened, not feeling safe, feeling incompetent, feeling like a failure, all of these things. And and my health was flaring again, of course. And then I started a practice of radical acceptance and radical self love. And when I say radical, I mean fully, full acceptance has been a big practice. Full self love for myself, even when I make a mistake. Even when I look back and go, Beth, I don't know if that was the brightest thing that I did. But loving myself through all of that, loving myself with the hiatal hernia and my stomach being up above my diaphragm and the pain and the pressure on the vagal nerve, the anxiety. How can I love myself? And that is what kept giving me the courage and the strength to get up every day and do what I had to do and to be able to problem solve and to think. Because here's the thing, and I know we all know this on some level, but when somebody said it to me, it just really hit me how much I have to show up for myself. They said, no one is going to heal you except you. There are people that can help. There are people that can be guides and they can give you information, but you're the only one that can do it. You're the only one that can show up and do the protocol, even when it's hard, and show up and discern. How do we discern? And that's something that I want to be talking about more. How do we discern what is good for us and what is the not the right time? And sometimes people know that. How do we hone that? How do we listen? And there are a lot of foundations to this. But we have, with watching so many cases, the 1,000 plus that I've seen personally and been involved in directly or mentoring, or the tens of thousands of people that have written in, what I keep seeing is these mindsets and these foundations that underlie us and give us a sense of solid ground to stand on when we have adversity, when we have difficulty. And we all have adversity and difficulty here. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. And so I've got some options for you coming up I want to talk about. But I want to get to a few of these other comments and some things that people shared here, because the community sharing is so important. And so, Taylor, thank you, Taylor. Sending you love while going through this transition. You're always so sweet. Thank you. And I tell you, you guys really lift me up. And I get a sense that I lift you all up too. And Kim saying here, it's a blessing and inspiration while walking through my own challenges. That's something that always has been a foundation in my healing is, how do I continue? How do I not just totally shut down within myself? How can I be there for someone else as well? And I had to really make choices about how I did that. And there were some people that were in so much turmoil that I didn't have the energy within myself, but I would find some way that I could be of service. And that's what you guys are doing right now, is as you post things, you're being in service. You're in service to me. You're in service to each other. And let's see, I think we've got a few other things. Corinne's saying joy is what she's going to practice this year, and feeling primal trust more consistently. That's lovely. That's lovely. And a lot of you said, yes, you do feel like the world is more difficult. Things are shifting. And in just about every aspect, Patty says so many people on the edge and struggling. And Christine says, yeah, it's tough. I agree with you. Things are definitely changing, but there's becoming more awareness to chronic illness, which is encouraging. That is encouraging, yes. And I've noticed that too. There's more awareness of mast cell activation syndrome and mold toxicity. And that's really going to make a change in our lives. Susan's noticing differences in relationships. And Catherine says, because there's a lack of understanding of how MCAS and mold affect a person. A community that understands these illnesses is important. And that's so right. We just need a loving place to land. And sometimes these little infusions give us the energy and the inspiration even to keep going and to do the next step and to find the next step, because things can get so overwhelming, can't they? I had an IRS letter that came in saying that I hadn't filed a form in 2020 and my accountant had filed it and I couldn't find the form, and I had to get a hold of the accountant and get a copy of the form again. And even just that felt so overwhelming. And so I looked for inspiration. I looked for just to get a response back to the IRS. And for some people, maybe that's easy. For me, that's like, woo, that gets my shoulders up around my ears, which doesn't help the hiatal hernia at all. But then I come together with you all, and there's a sense again of, yes, we can do this. We can do this. And so let's do this little practice. And you may not have a mirror, but let's do this little practice. I want to do 2 little practices with you today to help you with whatever you're facing, whether it's your health, whether it's Sally shared she's got pre-op for carpal tunnel exam, and her new doctor's not heard of MCAS, so she's dealing with that. Let's hold these things for each other. And, oh, this is lovely, Christine. Community gives me strength to be bold and stand up for myself and my health needs. Yes, I'm so glad to hear that. And so let's just, the mirror makes it a little more intense, so you can work up to doing this with a mirror if you'd like. But let's just close our eyes for a minute. Let's put our hands over our hearts. Breathe into our hearts. Whatever's here, if it's sadness, if it's loneliness, if it's joy, if it's peace, if it's feeling angry, it doesn't matter. Whatever this feeling is, can you hold this feeling like you would hold the most precious, beloved child? Can you just hold that? And it may be hard at first. It may feel awkward. You may not know what to do. And so if you don't, or you're struggling with it, then hold the possibility that you could hold that for yourself. Consider the possibility that you could hold it. And so sometimes we can come in even looser, even lighter. And whatever's here, just for this moment, can we radically accept this? Doesn't mean we're complacent. Doesn't mean we're going to ignore it. It just means whatever it is, can we stop fighting it? Can we stop resisting it? And notice what happens in your body as you do that. What I'm noticing, even with all the things on my shoulders, that if I radically accept everything right now, there's a little sense of peace entering. It's not taking it all away, but it's about 10%. So I'm just going to stay with that. And I'm going to smile a little bit. And I'm going to just stay with this love. Then what we're going to do is, all of us that are on here that are experiencing challenges, can you hold your hands out as if we're all holding hands? And what I want us to do is put our left hand down, your left hand down, and your right hand up. So feel someone else in this circle has their hand under your hand, and someone else in the circle has their hand on top of your right hand. And so even though we're not physically touching, energetically, we're connecting in a circle. Oh, wow. And I feel that energy from you guys. It's beautiful. And then can we hold this with each other? Can we hold with each other this radical acceptance of where we are? Because resisting takes so much energy. It drains a lot of energy. So can we just go, okay, all right. I don't even have to know any of the answers right now. The first step to any change is just fully accepting what's right here. Oh, and maybe there's a little peace that comes in. Maybe not feeling so alone. I know I don't feel quite so alone. I feel your love. And then what we're going to do is this energy that we've just shared, that we're concentrating in our combined intention here with each other. I want you to hold it in your hands, and we're going to come back to our hearts again. And you can put your right hand over your left or left over right. Just see what feels right to you. And let's bring that love and that radical acceptance back into our hearts. I fully and radically accept what's happening in my life so that I can reclaim the energy that's been there in fighting or resisting, and I can channel it into healing. Even if I don't know the how, I don't have to know the how. I can just bring it in right here. Right here. And let's take a big breath. Oh, wow. I feel better. Does anybody else feel better after this? My energy's flowing better. I feel more peaceful. The hiatal hernia relaxed some. So this is the power of what can happen when we're in a space of love and acceptance. And it's even more powerful as a group. I've seen that over and over, even more powerful when we come together and we do it together. And so Ashley was asking, do I have any meditations that you can listen to? She's very good at it. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. I've worked a long time to hone that. And Sally said, I feel loved and peaceful and love the support group. Yes, I'm so glad. Kim feels calmer. Kim Miller and Kim H says that was great. Corrine sends love and thank you. And Taylor said it was calming. Patty said absolutely. And so I'm going to be bringing a group together for 4 weeks. Christina feels less alone. Wonderful. I'm bringing a group together, and it's a 4-week coaching group just on these things. And we're going to be doing meditations and healings. We're going to be looking at what are our fears, what are our blocks that hold us back from feeling loved, accepted, and safe, and how do we work with those? This is one of those programs where you can put in as much as you want with it, but you don't have to put extra in if you don't want to. And it's going to be live, but then it'll be recorded if you can't make the live sessions. And so when I've been in situations where my health was just falling apart left and right, and Ciara, I see your message there. Um, when I've come back to this kind of love and this kind of deep acceptance, and I always dive right in, and I, dive in just open and present and really work these things. It's always helped some breakthrough come. And I was in extreme health crisis this summer. I was on 18 medications. I was having severe asthma from all the stress. I was having anaphylaxis. And then I ended up having, for those of you who know what acute intermittent porphyria is, I was having those attacks, very painful, intense anxiety, and so on. And when I come back to these places of this safety, then my health started to improve. And it's not overnight, it takes time. But what I'm going to be sharing is a lot of tools. So let me tell you about this program. And for those of you who want to check it out, the link is right here. It's the MCAS New Year Reboot. And I've got a coupon code for you guys. And let me get it in here. I thought I had saved it. But I wanted to make sure you guys could get a discount because you're so loyal being here. And it's important to me that we can offer that. Now, this discount is going to be there. It's almost $60 off. It's, I believe, $59.55 off, 15% off through midnight. And the coupon code is Reboot15. So I'm going to put this up here. So 15% off, and use the code Reboot15. And I want to show you a little bit here about what we're going to be doing. And so this is for people who feel stuck with their health and are not sure where to go next, or you're improving, but you want to improve a little faster. And you're really working on your health. You're trying to eat well. Your gut's still a mess. You feel like you're spinning your wheels. You're doing these nervous system techniques maybe, but it's not still getting you where you need to be. It seems like the protocols, the supplements are failing you. So I've seen this over and over and over in these cases. So what I'm going to bring in is um, some of these tools and strategies I've been using in my health, and I've used piecemeal with clients and seen results with, but I'm going to bring them together in this 4-week course. And so this is about really improving your sense of safety in a community and shifting the energy underlying your health. And so there's a lot of energetic blocks that we don't talk about very often. And we're going to be working with those in this program as well. And this is really where I was stuck for so long. I had some of the best practitioners. I hope this is visible. I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. I had some of the best practitioners. A lot of times I was having trouble to take anything. And these are the principles that really got me through. They're also the principles that got me when I didn't know what to do and I felt paralyzed with fear. And I worked these things, was able to get up and keep going. I was able to find the next answer or reach out to the next thing I'd do. Sometimes even just scheduling that appointment with your practitioner can feel overwhelming. And so how do we do that? So what we're going to do is talk about 4 major MCAS roadblocks. These are on the more energetic, mindset, emotional, but this is what's the foundation for everything when we're stuck. And this will be a group coaching. There won't be individual coaching. I'm not going to do supplements, things like that. I'm not looking at test results, but it's going to be a group where we're going to come together a lot more in depth. So what today was just a little taste of what we're going to get into in here. So we've got 5 live sessions. And then I think it was Christine was asking for a meditation, um, trying to find out who it was that was asking for if we've got some meditation. So when you sign up this week, I'm recording for you a daily MCAS recovery meditation that you're going to get. That's yours to keep, and everything's recorded. We're going to have these deep, they're nervous system calming meditations, but they're also energy shifting meditations. And we're going to have a private Facebook group for the people in the 4-week coaching, where if you want to share what you're working on, if you want to share your homework, you just want to post encouragement, we're going to post those things in there. So we're going to have this Facebook group for connection for 4 weeks. And we're going to have some guidelines in terms of what we post. So that's going to be monitored, and we're going to keep it really positive. And then I have a surprise guest teacher coming on overcoming financial blocks to healing. I'm really excited about this for you all. And I just was able to get a healer who's going to join us. I'm so excited about that, and is going to do some healings with us as well. And you'll have all those recorded so you can use them at any time that you want. And then there'll be some exercises you can work on. There's some case studies of people that worked with these principles and how it helped them. And so it's the normal price is $397, but this week, Friday through midnight Pacific, you can get 15% off. Oh, Ashley was looking for meditations. Thank you, Christine. So Ashley, if this program looks good for you, you're going to get a number of meditations with it, and then you can use those anytime you want. And so here's the dates, and they're on this page. If you go to MassCell360/reboot. So the URL is, I'm going to pop it back up there for you in a minute. MassCell360.com/reboot is going to get you to this page. These are the live dates, and they're 5 to 6:30 Eastern, 2 to 3:30 Pacific. But if you can't make it live, what I found is that the energy of healings is transmitted on digital recording. And so you can do the exact same things with us, even if you can't be there live, and the energy will be preserved. And so I've experienced that with healings before. So all of that's going to be recorded. You're going to have things to work on if you want, but you can do them in your own way. So you'll have things to work on. You can do journaling if you like to journal. You can talk into your phone, just record your voice. You can do a vision board. You can just post it in the Facebook group. You can do it in the way that works for you. So this is really flexible in terms of what works for you. So there's some FAQs down here for you guys that you want to check in on. And then somebody was asking, oh, here we go. Thanks, Jamie, for posting that. Somebody was asking, what's the price with the discount? So if you get the 15% off, it comes down from $395 to $337.45. So that's through this week. And I would so love for you guys to join us. Patty said she's in. Kim Miller said she's already signed up. So excited. So I'm really happy for you guys to be here with us and to join us. And let's see if there's any other questions. I'll answer some questions here. And while we're waiting to see if they're going to come out, any questions, I'm going to switch back so that you have, there's the URL. So masscell360.com/reboot. And then you can get, let me make sure you can grab this. So you can do screenshots here if you need to. And so that's the URL. And then here's your coupon code. I really should put that. Let me make sure that this is clear. You're not going to put the arrows in front of it. So your coupon code is Reboot 15. Let me pop that back up for you so it's really clear and people aren't confused. Okay. So your coupon code is Reboot15. So I hope you join me. We're going to be back on next week, and it's so wonderful to be back with you all. I'm really excited about this program. Oh, Catherine already signed up too. Thank you, Catherine. I'm so glad you're going to be there. Let's close with just one more meditation. And what we're going to do is put one hand over your heart. And then I want you to feel as if you're putting a hand over someone else's heart in this group who's suffering. Not my heart necessarily. You can if you want, that feels the best. But I want us to reach out to everybody here. And you don't have to have a person in mind, or you can, if you want to reach out to somebody. But the key is just to reach out into the group and reach out to a heart. And so everybody can feel as if their heart's being touched by somebody, and that we're reciprocating and touching someone else's heart. And let's just breathe another nice breath. And remind ourselves, no matter what we're going through, we're probably not the only person on the planet going through it. There's somebody else here that's also having difficulty, and probably everyone here having difficulty. And so, can we again come back to this radical acceptance and this love? And if it's hard to have love for ourselves, can we extend love to someone else in the group? And say, gosh, I know you're suffering. And I just want to offer you some love and some peace. And I know I'm suffering. And I want to receive the love and the peace that you're offering here. And then let's finish by just with gratitude. Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us, for being in this community. And I'm so appreciative of you all and the energy that you bring and the love. And Patty here had a question. Oh, this is so kind of you. She wants to purchase for another member who can't afford it. Yes, you can absolutely use the discount and purchase the second one. Just purchase it in your friend's name. Put it in her name. And I'm happy for you to use the discount for that. And thank you for that service, Patty. That's beautiful. I'm wishing you all a gentle day, and continue to remember that we can radically accept what's here. We have gone through so much, and we have the strength to keep going, and we're not alone. You're not alone. I'm not alone. And I hope to see you all in the program, and take care. We'll be back next week with a little Q&A.